Oh hey, I know that some time has passed since the last episode, and many of you are waiting for a second part, but I'm here to tell you that it won't happen. Strange, isn't it? I know what it says in the title, I know what appears in the thumbnail, but it's all a misunderstanding. This is not the second part of turning cartoon characters into FNAF Animatronics. It really isn't. So, what are you still doing here? Whoa, hey, wait, why are you touching? I am super excited for today's video because we're going to take a trip back to the classic era of cartoons. Back to some of the most popular cartoons of our childhoods, like Tom and Jerry, the Looney Tunes, and the Yogi Bear show. So without further ado, let's get started, baby! So for Bugs Bunny, starting with the head, I tried to design that, although it had elements of Five Nights at Freddy's, such as the generic shape of the face and the separated mouth, it was nothing like the original. So I decided to start over, this time with the original design in mind. And much better. To make the cheeks, I copied the lower half of the head, and then I separated it to be able to modify it easily without deforming the other elements of the face. Although it looked good from the front, it looked a little bit strange from the sides. So I gave up on the idea and instead used two separate textures, slightly modifying the placement of the vertices to get closer to the original shape of the cheeks. I usually spend too much time modeling the mouths, but this time the ears took over that process. Each time I tried to make them like the original, it just got worse. But in the end, I reached a result that I was satisfied. The head, in particular, is the hardest part of the whole process when it comes to these. The body is often the same for most models, with small changes. You'll see later. This body, oh boy, it was everywhere. When creating the hands, I gave them a strange traffic cone shape. I have no idea what happened there, but the feet look good, so the situation is in balance.
As all things should be.
There was no point in creating an endoskeleton for him because it wouldn't have been visible anyway. So instead, I went with the toy design, which included an endo mouth, neck, and limb joints. As for the textures, I used one from Ubuntu, one of the FNAF Movie Pack's creators. That's his username. I swear to God, I didn't steal the texture from like an Aztec tribe. It is quite difficult to reproduce Five Nights at Freddy's textures in Blender, especially in newer versions, like the one I use, which is 4.0. I saw that many people use version 2.79, but I find it difficult to learn because many of the keys are completely different from the new versions. And here's the final look of Bugs Bunny. Now, to be honest, if I was the night guard, I don't think I'd let this guy anywhere near me. What's up, Doc? Oh, come on. Can't a fellow rabbit be— Just go like you're consuming all of my energy, dude. Now, this was a bit tricky to convert. The shape of the head was no problem, it came out on the first try. But the muzzle was a whole other story. I stared at this image for an hour trying to think of a design that didn't look like Freddy Fazbear with like green accessories. And finally, I decided to look for a reference, and I came across that Fredbear poster, and I noticed that both heads looked similar, in one way or another. So I decided to try a vintage style for the muzzle. You know, similar to Baddington's designs. And I must admit, he doesn't look bad at all, especially with the white collar and the green hat. For the body, I decided not to make it exactly like the original, long torso, short legs. Instead, I gave him the proportions of a typical animatronic. to make him stand up as a man, not as a man with baby legs. So there you have it, Yogi Bear as a man. I mean, as a Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic. I will probably say that he's my favorite, but before I say that, we have to see how Tom turns out. Now, the lesson of this episode was definitely creating heads gives you headaches, because oh my god, Tom didn't pull any punches. Was it more difficult to create than the others? Yeah, maybe not. But at least the others didn't start off as ghosts from Luigi's Mansion.
I can't believe this guy.
As I said before, the head is the hardest part of the whole process, and it's normal for it to be like that. That head contains the majority of a character's defining features. Make it as close as possible to the original, and people will recognize it. Just as easily, I could have stolen Candy's model and recolored it with Tom's colors. But that doesn't make it Tom. It's just Candy with sad colors. Also, fun fact about me, because I don't know what else to say in this part of the video. When I was in the 3rd grade, I had this teacher who made us change our Romanian names to English names for her class. It was an intriguing way to focus all our attention on the English language. My name was Tom, and it was inspired by Tom and Jerry, as I was a huge fan of the show at the time. And I still am, because, I mean, the show is just a classic. Here you have it, Tom as a Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic. He will probably need his partner in crimes, so, who knows? Maybe Jerry will appear in the next episode. But until then, you can check out the first episode and say hi to Gumball for me. Or, if you like games, you can check out this video where I made a FNAF game in just a single week. Until next time, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now, take care.